All right, so like 3 weeks ago, I took a video of the little, I think it's a Toho. It doesn't actually say. And then I just realized I painted over the entire description, which is something I would do. But yeah, I got the entire little quad painted, all the parts, which is kind of a pain because now I have to put all the parts back together, but that's kind of what happens when you take it all apart. And the old chain was a piece of trash, so I got this. That looks right, and it came with 10 master links, which at the rate I blow master links is probably a good idea. And then, yeah, I can clarify that this is indeed an 80cc engine, and this engine, it runs pretty good. The only problem I have is the starter. The starter's fine, actually. It's not the starter. What is it? It's the the solenoid. I have the entire wiring system over here. And so the one thing I was going to do and completely spaced to do was to build a new bracket for this. And then right here, that's not good. You don't want that. So I need to fix that up, kind of clean the wiring up a little bit, and then figure out how I'm going to get this looking vaguely nice. And I'm going to wire brush this and just kind of clean that up and see if it's like a ground issue. And then, no, I'll clarify, you should not zip tie ever whatsoever. You should never zip tie your battery down. That's where a lot of problems are. So I'll probably clean that all up with a brush. And then I'll have another battery over here. And hopefully, I put it on the charger. Hopefully this thing has what it takes. But I was trying to look in there, but it doesn't seem like there's any of those little bolts that hold it down. Unfortunately, it's kind of a pain, but yeah, the next step is to get this all put back together and running and driving. I have the suspension here. I changed out the bushings. That's kind of loose. I don't know. That should not be that way. It might be too small. Another one right here. That one's pretty snug, thankfully. I have the steering arm. It's a little concerning that that's moving back and forth. Steering might be a little bit off, but yeah, I need to put a little bit of oil in there. I'll probably put the steering, the back end, the back shaft, which is outside, and the engine and exhaust. I'll probably put everything but the tires on. Then I'll put the electrical system. And then, obviously, this is right here where the battery goes. And like I said, I had the sheer genius to forget to build battery brackets. So I might just get, I don't know if they're still over here. I had some little pieces of metal, yeah, right here. I was going to cut it in half and just right up against these two bars on here, I was going to essentially just mount it right here. So the battery, I didn't really care if it slid back and forth, but I just didn't want it falling out because that's obviously a pain. But if you do it like that, it won't mount. And you can't very well just mount it straight up there, so that might be a very faulty plan. But I thought that maybe potentially I could just drill a couple holes in here, use some self-tapping screws, and go in through there, and then put another one up against this plate. But the problem is that plate's weighed down, so I'm not exactly sure what I'll do yet. But the battery can't just loaf around. That was getting to be kind of a pain. But unfortunately, the plastics on this thing are toast, so there's no way I'm getting plastics on here. And it doesn't look too bad without plastics. It's kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit janky, but just kind of got to work with it. But hopefully I will get all that figured out, and hopefully in the next, it's not really an episode. It's more like the opposite of an episode. Probably more like destruction. But hopefully this will all be back together. Some miracle will happen, and something will actually happen. But thankfully we do have a hole for a flag, so that's, that's worth an extra, at least 20 horsepower, most likely. But that's pretty much that. You should not look at these obstructions of a weld whatsoever. The only thing I'm semi-proud about are these bars. They look pretty nice, not gonna lie. But pretty much everything else is terrible. So I guess I'll be able to be happy about the handlebars and the chain, and the rest will just kind of, be that. But hopefully this thing will be back together and semi-efficient and running. But I guess that will remained to be